Patton Sports Videocast is brought to you by Snap Laces. Snap Laces' elite lacing system was designed for world-class athletes. They come in hundreds of color combinations so you can perform well and look great at the same time. Buy a set online today by clicking through the top image on mopattonsports.com. LT360 is a health and weight loss company based in Brentwood, led by Coach Scott Oatsvall and Brent High. They have helped more than 700 clients in the last year get healthy, lose weight, and feel better with an all-natural program and simple approach to exercise and nutrition. LT360 offers free health and wellness seminars each week. For more information, visit their website at lt360.com or call them at 615-312-8244. Whether you are looking for seafood, vegetarian options, or delicious fresh prepared meats, Tzatziki's Mediterranean Cafe has menu items that are sure to satisfy. The recipes are all made fresh and inspired by Mediterranean cuisine. Tzatziki's is open for lunch and dinner and provides catering for events, both large and small. Order your favorite entree by using the To-Go Order app on your phone. Tzatziki's is more than a restaurant. It's a take on the idea that great food brings people together. Visit Tzatziki'sCafe.com for a listing of locations in the Nashville area. I want to thank everybody for joining us here on Patton Sports Videocast as we get you ready for the Blue Cross Bowl. I'm Maurice Patton along with Kevin Smith, and as you can notice, we moved it inside here. You know, it's 1st of December, starting to get a little cool, a little wet this week, so we are at the Southwestern Real Estate office, the place where Kevin Smith actually makes his money, I guess, these days.
It's been a lot of time here, Mo. Actually, the true day job, you can say.
I understand. Hey, going to get you ready for the Blue Cross Bowl. 3 days, 8 games up in Cookeville at Tennessee Tech. Want to remind you, though, before we go any further, be sure and check out Patton Sports on Facebook. All of our video stuff, our podcasts, all of our written content is up there. Got some stuff coming this week that you want to be on the lookout for as well. So check that out on Facebook. And also, beat Mostradamus at mopattonsports.com. There's a pull-down tab there. We've got all of this week's games listed. We'll have my picks up here before the end of the week. Submit yours to beat Mostradamus at mopattonsports.com. Winner gets a gift card to Tzatziki's Cafe, 7 locations in the Nashville area. So you'll be able to use that somewhere. But first, you got to win it. So we got 3 undefeated teams rolling into Cookeville this week, and we'll get to those. But, North Point, one of the first teams that'll be playing, comes in at 13-0. They are in the Division 2A championship game. Independence on Friday in the 5A finals, they come in at 14-0, and Maryville, as usual, comes in at 14-0, and they will be in the 6A championship game. And again, we'll get to those in a second. But that first game on Thursday, North Point, 13-0, takes on St. George's, also out of Memphis. They are 12-1. 2 teams about 30 minutes apart, driving about 4.5 hours for a championship game. But they probably don't mind.
No, because you want to be in this situation to be in a state championship game and have an opportunity to win a championship. But we're talking about 2 teams that St. George was kind of the preseason favorite. They've kind of been there, done that in the past. They've got Chase Hayden at running back, a couple of really good linemen. They have been preparing for this moment for the last couple of years with some young players getting reps. And then North Point Christian is a little bit more of a surprise, not necessarily to be in the state championship game, but the way they've done it. They've had a really good year going undefeated, and a team that's just kind of come on here and really an impressive win against a USJ team last week that beat an undefeated FRA team that a lot of people didn't think would win. So North Point Christian's coming in this game with a lot of confidence to go up against the preseason favorite, St. George.
St. George won 28-6 over Harding in their semifinal game. As you said, North Point beat USJ 38-14 in the semis. St. George's only loss was to Lausanne, lost to them 30-14 in week 3. They've run off 10 straight wins since then, including a 42-10 win over that same Lausanne team in the quarters. So got a little get back on the way back to Cookeville. So you mentioned Chase Hayden, the Mr. Football winner in Division 2A. They've also got Chase is the son of former UT tailback Aaron Hayden. They've got another UT legacy in one of their linemen, Jacob Still, whose dad played at UT as well. So got a little lineage over there at St. George's.
They've got some good talent, and they've had it for a couple of years, and some young players that have played a lot of football over the last couple of years, starting very early in their career, and Chase is one of those guys. And they've got kids with multiple offers from some multiple programs across this country. So This is a very talented St. George team against a North Point, again, that we've talked about, has kind of just been steady all year and come up with some big wins, and then a huge, just absolute big win against USJ last week, kind of dismantling them in an impressive fashion. This could be a really good ball game.
That's the early game on Thursday. The late game on Thursday is the one that most everybody in the Mid-State will be paying attention to because it's Brentwood Academy and defending Division II AA state champion Montgomery Bell Academy rolling into that one. Brentwood Academy won the earlier game 48-14 back in week 8, and part of a 10-game win streak for them since they lost to Trinity out of Louisville, Kentucky. That was MBA's only loss, broke a big win streak for them, and they've regrouped fairly well behind their Mr. Football winner, Ty Chandler.
One of the best backs in the country, but well, this comes down to me of two very proud programs. We're talking about a BA program that has won a lot of state championships. First time back in the state championship game since 2008. We're talking about an NBA team, obviously, who's the defending state champion. So we've got two very proud programs battling it out for a state championship Thursday night with a lot of talent that's going to be on the field, a lot of guys that are going to be playing on Saturdays, and then some good role players that are good high school football players. This is an interesting matchup in the fact that if you go back to the first game, while the score looks big, it came down to, in my opinion, it's always a couple of plays here and there where things can snowball one way or the other. But NBA is driving in the red zone, an opportunity maybe to take a lead, throws an interception, BA returns it, gets a couple of scores in a row, and it kind of gets away from NBA.
It was 10-7 at the time.
10-7. We're talking about maybe being 14-10 or 10-10, whatever you want to say. But it just kind of snowballed. And so I think for NBA, I'm looking for Ty Chandler somehow, some way to have 40-plus touches, whether that's running the ball, getting the ball in the passing game, somehow getting him in the open field or on special teams to give him as many touches as possible against a very talented BA defense.
You know, he's coming off of a 305-yard, 4-touchdown performance in the semifinal win over Christian Brothers. So 40 touches probably isn't out of the realm of possibility. I'm sure Marty Uverard and the coaching staff over there would like to be a little bit more diverse, but sometimes you just know where your bread is buttered, and obviously Ty's been getting it done for him all year.
And I think both defenses have a challenge of stopping the other team's running game because both teams run it well. BA's offense runs it really well, and so does NBA's. And the challenge for both defenses will be, can we win on first and second down, force the other team in third and long situations all night long, force that offense, NBA's or BA's, to prove they can throw the ball to win this game. If I'm BA's defense, I want to make somebody not named Ty Chandler beat me. And if I'm NBA, I want to make Jeremiah Oswald, the ultra talented quarterback for BA, I want him to beat me with his arm, not his legs. And so I think we've got a lot of dynamics in this game. I'm really anxious and excited to see their game plans because I think both coaches are going to have to do something just a little bit different from round one and have a few wrinkles and try to figure out how to stop the other's potent offense.
The X factor, though, as you said, Jeremiah Oatsvall and his ability to make plays with his legs. Even if you do get Brentwood Academy into those third and long situations, you have to be careful how you rush him, do you not?
Yeah, you do, because he can get out and he can run for the first down. Or he can scramble around in the pocket and does a good job keeping his eyes downfield and then hitting the big play. You know, another thing too, Mo, and these guys don't get a lot of credit most of the time, is the offense and defensive lines are huge. This is a game where you're actually going to see in high school some massive human beings on both lines, on both teams. We're talking about an NBA offensive line that's been opening holes all year. We're talking about a D-line in BA with a Brandon Adams who has been absolutely destroying offensive lines. And then obviously the two SEC commits in Ryan Johnson and Bryce Matthews on BA's offensive line. We're talking about two potent lines that can take over a game. Which line is going to take over this football game or Thursday night, could be the difference.
And you're talking about an NBA line that's got some experience with Phelps Gamble and Joe Scouten and those guys up there. And like you said, the proof is in Chandler's numbers, upwards of 2,000 yards for him. So a couple of great lines, a couple of great talents behind them with Prince Mamadou for Brentwood Academy and Chandler for NBA. And oh yeah, don't forget about Jeremiah Oatsvall and Cameron Johnson in the passing game for BA. So Should be an interesting one. I don't think it's going to be 48-14 this time around. We'll get into our picks here later in the show. When we come back, we're going to take you into Friday's matchups and then into Saturday night's games. John Mayer Builders proudly sponsors the Patton Sports Videocast. With over 1,500 homes built in Middle Tennessee, John Mayer Builders knows the importance of families and communities. They have numerous business awards to their credit, proving that John Mayer Builders is built to win. Like them on Facebook. John Mayer Builders, our reputation is building.
Southern Athletic Fields originated in 1996 when Bill Marbett formed a company specializing in baseball and softball field materials. SAF has since grown and now has sales reps to cover over 12 states with products servicing many outdoor sports. Southern Athletic Fields takes great pride in working with our customers to achieve the best athletic field possible. Visit our website at www.southern-athleticfields.com or like them on Facebook. Dirt, you gotta love it.
Great teams have talent. They also have the necessary tools for success. BSN Sports delivers these tools whether your team needs uniforms, apparel, or athletic equipment to achieve greatness. Just like a winning teammate, BSN Sports is there for you. Their unmatched service ensures that you have best-in-class equipment for championship-level performance, plus uniforms and athletic apparel from the best brands in the industry to look your best when hoisting your trophy. As an All-State agent in Murfreesboro, James Knight knows many local families. His knowledge and understanding of the people in this community helps him provide customers with an outstanding level of service. He helps families like yours protect the things that are important: your family, home, car, boat, and more. He's proud to work with a company like Allstate. As a small business owner, he understands the importance of building a solid foundation for the future and developing long-lasting customer relationships. When you leave his office, I hope you'll feel confident, informed, assured, and satisfied in your choices, the way you should feel.
On Friday, the games get started at 11 at Tennessee Tech with the 1A contest between Greenback and a Nashville Christian team that's finally gotten to the Blue Cross Bowl after four straight semifinal losses. Is that right?
Yeah, 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Who's counting?
Well, they're not now, I'm sure.
At the end of the day, they're over the hump, and that's what matters.
Yeah, lost to Huntington, lost back-to-back to Union City, finally got past Peabody this time around. Big time, 42-7 win there. So, they didn't just get over the hump, they kind of beat it down pretty much. And you like the way they're playing right now.
And we touched on this in the podcast this week, that this is a group that has star players, but then some role players who have really stepped up over the last couple of weeks. And when you have star players that are making plays for you and doing what they should be doing, Mario McGraw is scoring in special teams. He's scoring at the running back position. He can also catch the ball anywhere on the field. We got Daniel Batuli, who's making double-digit tackles, now playing a little bit more offense now that we've got later in the season. He's on a mission, like he was Friday night. And then we have the role players who are starting to get some publicity because they're making plays. When you put all that together, Mo, you got a recipe for a state championship caliber program. And I'm just wondering if Greenback has enough speed to hang in there with Nashville Christian on Friday.
Looking at Greenback's numbers, it was really interesting. They won 21-14 over Columbia Academy. Columbia Academy was up 7-0 at the half. They scored on their first 3 possessions of the second half, kind of took Columbia Academy out of that one. But 2 weeks ago in their win over Harriman, Greenback rushed for 382 yards. This past Friday night against Columbia Academy, they threw for about 240. So they're showing a little versatility in their offense, and that's something that I'm sure kind of caught Jeff Brothers and the coaching staff's attention over at Nashville Christian.
Well, they're going to have to be able to be balanced, in my opinion. They're playing a very fast and athletic 3-3-5 defense for Nashville Christian, who's going to slant and stunt. They're going to blitz quite a bit. They're going to press coverage you. It's going to be one of those games. They're going to challenge you to stay balanced, because if you get into where you're having to pass every play, they're going to blitz you and they're going to get to your quarterback. They're going to have to be able to run the football. If I'm Greenback, I'm going to run the ball, keep Nashville Christian's offense off the sideline, don't give Mario McGraw many chances to score. And when they are when the defense is on the field, make Nashville Christian drive the length of the field. Nashville Christian, they do an unbelievable job of big plays, 20-plus yardage gains on big plays. And man, you score in a hurry. And Greenback has to be able to prevent that if they want any chance of winning this football game.
You've talked about Brant Lawless, the sophomore defensive tackle up front for Nashville Christian a lot this year, in the middle of that 3-3-5 like you talked about. He's a guy who can really create some issues for a Greenback team, I would think.
Well, the hard part about Brant, he gets off the ball so quickly, he actually pushes your center back into your play, and sometimes knocking your quarterback off track as well. He just does a really good job of getting off the ball, penetrating, and causing your pulls to be off, where your guard's pulling. He can get to a fullback in a hurry. If you're running an ISO or power, he just disrupts offensive lines and offensive plays. They're going to have to do a good job of blocking him, or it's going to disrupt their running game.
And when you're talking about a Daniel Batuli making double-digit tackles, I'm sure he owes a lot of that to Mr. Lawless.
Yeah, and they do a good job up front, moving and slanting as well, which causes problems for an offensive line. So, again, Greenback needs to be balanced. Their defense needs to eliminate the big play, and obviously special teams are going to be huge with the way Nashville Christian can score on special teams. Greenback has to be very sound in their special teams game.
The second game on Friday, the 3 o'clock game, is the first of two championship game rematches that we've got from last year, as it's Alcoa and CPA teeing it up.
Yeah, and we got a couple of UTC commits in this game. We got Zach Weatherly, the quarterback at CPA, and we've got Jonathan Decker, defensive lineman for Alcoa. Very impressive players for both teams. And then we got the McClure twins from Alcoa. If you're around Middle Tennessee, you don't know much about East Tennessee. Alcoa has a very athletic and physical defense that will be on display Friday afternoon, excuse me. This is another one where CPA's had a little trouble stopping the run this year. And Alcoa's bread and butter is they're going to shove it right down your throat running the football. So anxious to see how that's going to turn out. CPA's done a good job of being able to run the ball and then throw a deep ball and hit a big play. Can they do that against Alcoa? Can they run it enough consistently against a very, very talented defense to be able to even get themselves in position to throw those big plays, big bombs down the field is what I'm looking for.
And can they protect long enough for those big plays, those deep patterns to develop for Weatherly to be able to hit them?
Yeah, and this is the third year in a row. These are two great programs, great coaching staffs. Alcoa won 2 years ago. CPA won last year 7-0 with an unbelievable game by Jay Hockaday. This year, it's a little bit of a different CPA team, not as big up front. Alcoa is big up front. They've returned some of those players. Alcoa runs well. CPA has struggled a little bit stopping the run in Innsworth, the White House Heritage. But then on the flip side, CPA has done a good job offensively of being able to run and dictate pace and hit long passes. Can Alcoa's defense hold up against that attack?
Chip Omer is going to be on stage leading that running game for CPA, and he's going to have a big game, like you said, to establish the run, to allow for some play action and for some plays down the field by Zach and the receivers.
Yeah, and they got to do a good job on special teams too. We're talking about a CPA team who's returned a couple of kicks, and that's bonus points. Alcoa's got to do a good job on special teams. Price Purdue for CPA, he can jump over you, he can run by you. You better be paying attention to him at wide receiver for CPA. And a guy that we haven't really talked about is John Orr, a Princeton commit at linebacker for CPA. A kid who is a really good football player that's going to have to be very key against Alcoa's running game Friday, because he's going to have a really big game at his linebacker spot to keep Alcoa from just running it down the field.
And you talk about Price Purdue in the passing game. Wallace Barrett is a kid who had to move out to receiver due to injuries. He was supposed to be a running back for CPA this year, but he's gone out there and he's made some plays in the passing game, and like you said, had some returns as well. So they've got some options when Zach Weatherly does drop back to throw the ball.
Two very talented teams. Again, we've got a lot of kids playing on Saturdays in this game as well. It's going to be a very entertaining ball game, and a ball game with two great coaching staffs going against each other. Anxious to see game plans here as well, because I think there's a few things that both programs are going to try to throw out the other one to get them off balance and make them feel uncomfortable.
Alcoa got to the championship game with a 42-2 win over Notre Dame. CPA beat previously undefeated Liberty 21-0 to get here. So, as Kevin was saying, really dynamic matchup here with two teams who know a lot about each other from meeting at this juncture each of the last 2 years. In the nightcap on Friday night in 5A, we've got Sevier County coming in at 12-2. They beat Ray County 42-28 in the semifinals. They've got undefeated Independence, who won 56-15 over Centennial in the semifinals. And you've got two great quarterbacks. One, Deuce Wallace, who is committed to Vanderbilt for Sevier County. One, Andrew Bunch, who has not committed to anybody, but he's thrown for like 2,600 yards and almost 30 touchdowns despite missing 4 games with an elbow injury. Ball's going to be in the air a lot Thursday night. I'm sorry, Friday night.
And these are two very talented teams. Dorian Banks is a running back that some Middle Tennessee fans may recognize the name, was at Gallatin, is now the running back at Sevier County, very dynamic player as well. And obviously we've talked about Nate Johnson, just the overall receiving core, Seth Huner and Adam Swayze and Daniel Wright at running back, who does a really good job of catching the ball out of the backfield. He's a weapon there. Sevier County, while they can score, they better figure out something on defense this week, because we know Independence can score. They gave up over 500 total yards of offense to Ray County last week, and that's not going to get it done against an Independence team who can run it, who can throw it, and then Andrew Bunch can run it as well. And he's not scared to lower his shoulder to score a touchdown for you. So this is a game that it could be in the 40s. I don't know, but we're going to see some high-level quarterback play. And a lot of times when you have high-level quarterback play, it's going to be a high-scoring ball game. It's very tough on the defenses.
You know, when you get to the defenses, Sevier County's given up about 19, 20 points a game all year. Indy has given up 20 points one time this year. They've held folks to about 11.2. In the playoffs, 12.3. So they've quietly played really well on defense. Defensive end Chris Beavers really gets after the quarterback. A couple of linebackers, Hunter Dupree and Jacob Stoney. So they played really well on that side of the ball. It's just really been overshadowed because they've been so great on offense.
Yeah, and those linebackers, and like you said, D-line, they're going to have to do a good job of stopping the run first. Take Dorian Banks out of it. Let's get Deuce Wallace in a position where he's throwing it every down. But then those same linebackers, Dupree and those guys who do a great job against the run, there have to be special Friday of dropping in the right zone coverages when they're supposed to get there, jamming receivers downfield, something that sometimes you're not necessarily used to when you don't play teams who pass as much as Sevier County will. Those guys are going to have to be ready and practice up this week on really getting in their drops, finding receivers, and jamming receivers downfield.
When we get back, we'll take you through Saturday. We'll take a look at our picks, and that's what we'll do. We'll be right back.
Whether you are looking for seafood, vegetarian options, or delicious fresh prepared meats, Tzatziki's Mediterranean Cafe has menu items that are sure to satisfy. The recipes are all made fresh and inspired by Mediterranean cuisine. Tzatziki's is open for lunch and dinner and provides catering for events, both large and small. Order your favorite entree by using the To-Go Order app on your phone. Tzatziki's is more than a restaurant. It's a take on the idea that great food brings people together. Visit Tzatziki'sCafe.com for a listing of locations in the Nashville area. At National Playmakers Academy, developing NPA athletes comes in threes. NPA develops its student athletes' academic, social, and football-specific skills. Next, NPA develops them for better exposure today, recruitment tomorrow, and college education through scholarships for the rest of their lives. We are proud of the outstanding athletes we have developed. We are more proud of the college graduates we have prepared. Work with National Playmakers Academy for developing gifted athletes into productive citizens. I2, Integrity Insurance. I2 Agency was started with one primary focus in mind, helping people. As a multi-line insurance agency, we do that in a variety of ways with a full portfolio of products. Whether it's life, health, dental, Medicare, annuities, or home and auto insurance, we design solutions that will meet your individual needs. Logo My Logo continually beats the competition by 3 points. Service, expertise, selection. Beyond promotional products, Logo My Logo delivers incredible service to its clients. Their service is only matched by their marketing expertise in presenting their clients in the most professional light. Logo My Logo's broad selection means that their clients have multiple options to communicate their brand strongly. Premier marketing solutions require service, expertise, and selection. And Logo My Logo keeps finding a way to win by those 3 points.
Saturday's lid lifter at 11 o'clock. We got Marion County in 2A coming in at 12-1. They beat Hampton 55-17. They've got Tresvant, 11-3 Tresvant, got here with a 52-14 win over Trinity Christian out of Jackson. Tresvant was here last year with their great running back, Cordarian Richardson, who was a Mr. Football finalist. Marion County lost in the 2A finals to Peabody last year. So you've got a couple of teams that know the way to get here, got a little tradition behind them, and this should be a pretty good matchup.
And one thing I do know, and we mentioned this on the podcast, this is a Travis team that came to Nashville, traveled here, and beat Innsworth at Innsworth. Anytime that happens, you're talking about that's an impressive win. I mean, we're talking about the 3A finals in CPA who lost at Innsworth. So they obviously are a good football team, and they're on track to try to repeat as state champions.
In 4A at 3 o'clock Saturday, you've got Knoxville Catholic, which knocked off Marshall County 54-35, going up against Pearl Cone, making their first championship game berth since the 1997 Pearl Cone team that won the second of consecutive state championships over there. So Pearl Cone won 27-14 over Memphis East in the semis last week.
Speaking of two programs in CPA, these are both programs here who lost to CPA in the regular season. We talked about like matchups. CPA ran Knoxville Catholic right off the field, whereas Pearl Cone was actually inside the red zone with an opportunity to possibly tie and turn it over on downs. Sometimes you can look into those things. Sometimes there were certain players not playing. What we do know is Pearl Cone can score. They have a very dynamic duo at quarterback, running back, and receiver. Mr. Vaughn, Mr. Farrell, and Mr. Groves are all very good players. They're doing a great job in special teams, and their defense has been playing lights out. If they can stay away from the silly penalties and turnovers, this is a Pearl Cone team that I really like the way they're playing as a team. They're going up against a very talented Catholic team who has now gotten healthy. And with an Amari Rogers, who's a guy who's got offers from all over this country, he can score from anywhere, and a massive offensive and defensive line. So Pearl Cone's going to have their hands full with this Catholic team. Which team can avoid turnovers? Which team can slow down the other team's offense in the red zone and keep them out of the end zone? You
talk about Pearl Cone and their penalty situation. 12 for 103 last week against Memphis East. Jay Parker kind of gave them a spark, rushed for about 85, 90 yards, and just gave them a little something extra in the run game, caught a couple passes out of the backfield as well. They got up 27-0 early on, had the shot for another touchdown in the second quarter, couldn't quite punch it in, and never really got comfortable. They got out with the win, but I don't think Tony Brunetti was real happy with the way they closed that game out, and they'll have to shore that up against the Catholic team this weekend.
Yeah, we can't really use survive and advance anymore now that you're in the state championship game. But obviously, moving back to last week, I understand where Coach Brunetti's coming from. You always want to put your pedal down and finish somebody early. But at the same token, they survived in advance. They're now in a position to give themselves an opportunity. And with a defense that's playing as well as they are, sometimes you can make some of those miscues and make up for them. Catholic is too talented on offense for Pearl Cone not. If they're in the red zone, Pearl Cone has to score touchdowns. They cannot leave points on the board, and they can't have silly penalties to cause them to give extra possessions or extra drives and downs to Catholic's offense. Otherwise, Catholic will put a 50 spot on them.
I think this is going to be kind of fun to watch just from the standpoint that Tony Brunetti is a defensive-minded guy. Steve Matthews, the coach at Knoxville Catholic, is a former NFL quarterback after he played at Tullahoma and briefly at UT and at Memphis State. So you've got an offensive mind on one sideline, you've got a defensive mind on the other, and it'll be interesting to see what both those guys kind of dial up here in this one, I think.
Yeah, two game plans I'm anxious to see because they're both ultra-talented teams that can really play. They do a good job on both sides of the ball. So I really am anxious to see who can make the other one uncomfortable or get them out of their game plan and make them panic a little bit.
We talked about the Alcoa CPA rematch on Friday. We got another one here Saturday in the 7 o'clock nightcap in 6A. Maryville undefeated at 14-0. They advanced with a 27-13 win over Oakland. Ravenwood comes in at 13-1. Their only loss was to Centennial back in week 3. They advanced with a 20-13 win over Whitehaven. So these two teams played to overtime last year before Maryville won at 35-34.
This is another really intriguing matchup, A, because it's a rematch, but B, because there's so many dynamics that can play in this ball game. We're talking about a Maryville team who just doesn't beat themselves. They do a good job of controlling the ball. They've got an offense that has a run-pass option on every play, and they do a really good job of executing it. A defense that is fast with T.D. Blackman at linebacker, one of the best players in the state of Tennessee at his position. But, man, Ravenwood has proven with Chris Rowland, and I know we've said it like Brooklyn, but he is so exciting to watch, and I wish more people would would listen to that college-wise. and come see this kid. It reminds me of Brandon James, the returner from Florida a couple of years ago when they were winning national championships. He can score in the slot. He can score at running back. He can score on special teams. He's just dynamic. And he brings a different element to the game in general. And I like Ravenwood's. They play good defense. They got Andrew Rapay. They got Connor Jeffries. They got weapons that are going to mess with Ravenwood or with Maryville. Very intriguing matchup Friday night.
You know, you talk about Chris Rowland. 25 touchdowns on the year, 6 in the return game, 3 punt returns, 3 kickoff returns for touchdowns. So this kid is electric with the ball in his hands. And what intrigues me about this matchup is how different Ravenwood is offensively from last year to this year. Last year they were kind of a throw it all around the place with Cole Brown at quarterback and with Austin Percy and Van Jefferson, who's now at Ole Miss, at the wideouts. This year they are a little less pass happy. Maybe pass happy may not be the right word, but they are more balanced probably than they were last year. Like you said, with Connor Jeffries, a big body with deceptive speed, kick and fly. And with Rapay, who will turn it up and drop a shoulder on you, and then with Rowland, who can get to the corner. So they're a little more run-oriented this year. They're doing it a little differently than they did last year, but the results have been a lot alike.
And I think both defenses, again, these are two potent offenses. They're going to move up and down the field. Can you eliminate the big play and force them to drive the length of the field? A lot of times, if you force a team to drive the length of the field, they're going to get a penalty, a false start, a holding, or they're going to turn the ball over. So both defenses needed a good job of bending and not breaking. You may give up points 20-20. Once they get in the red zone, bowling up, holding them to a field goal or getting a turnover and getting out of there with only giving up 3 points, to me, is going to be a big key in this game. And Ravenwood not hurting themselves. And then the kicker. Ravenwood's got the best kicker in the state of Tennessee. Could he become the X factor of getting them on the board early, changing field position, hitting a long field goal at the end of a half, and maybe even winning this ball game? I mean, he could be a huge factor in this game when we start talking about special teams points with Ravenwood's kicker. Cruz
Holt, the kicker of the year, awarded this earlier this week, and obviously has the capability of being a factor in this ball game. Ravenwood got up in this game 28-7 last year, less people forget. So they've got the capability to strike quick and maybe get Maryville in a little bit of an uncomfortable situation there early on.
Well, you'd like to do that if you're Ravenwood. Obviously, starting fast is what everybody would like to do, but you kind of want to put a team like Maryville, who hasn't been in a lot of those close ball games or behind, see how they'll react to that. Obviously, they did a good job last year. Let's give Maryville credit, guys. They've beaten Cookeville, Blackman, and Oakland all in a row, and those are 3 very talented football teams who've won a lot of football games this year against some big time talent. So Maryville we know they're a great program, but they've also earned it. They've earned being here. They've beaten some really good football teams. So again, Friday night, who can avoid the turnovers, who can avoid giving up the big plays, is going to have a really good chance of winning this game.
Mo Patton Sports Videocast is brought to you by Snap Laces. Snap Laces' elite lacing system was designed for world-class athletes. They come in hundreds of color combinations, so you can perform well and look great at the same time. Buy a set online today by clicking through the top image on mopattonsports.com. LT360 is a health and weight loss company based in Brentwood, led by Coach Scott Oatsvall and Brent High. They have helped more than 700 clients in the last year get healthy, lose weight, and feel better with an all-natural program and simple approach to exercise and nutrition. LT360 offers free health and wellness seminars each week. For more information, visit their website at lt360.com or call them at 615-312-8244. John Mayer Builders proudly sponsors Mo Patton Sports Videocast. With over 1,500 homes built in Middle Tennessee, John Mayer Builders knows the importance of families and communities. They have numerous business awards to their credit, proving that John Mayer Builders is built to win. Like them on Facebook. John Mayer Builders, our reputation is building.
I want to take a quick look back at our picks from last week. Greenback knocked off Columbia Academy 21-14. I think we both had Columbia Academy.
We did. We were shocked at the score. Kudos to Greenback's defense. Nobody has slowed down Columbia Academy all year, so great job by Greenback.
Nashville Christian 42, Peabody 7. I picked that one.
I had Peabody. Thought this was maybe another hump, and they were the 2A defending state champs. Great job on Nashville Christian. Daniel Patulli came to play. He was on a mission. Congratulations to the Eagles.
3 rushing touchdowns and a pick 6 for Mr. Patulli, the Class 1A Mr. Football. CPA 21, Liberty nothing in 3A.
We both had CPA, didn't think they would shut them out, but great job by the defense, and again, scoring enough points to survive and advance and give yourself an opportunity in the state championship game.
Knoxville Catholic 54, Marshall County 35. Did not expect Marshall County to give up those kind of points.
Neither one of them. We both had Marshall County. We thought they would do a better job, especially with a stout defensive line. Again, Catholic showed that they can score, and their defense played pretty well in spots with 9 sacks and a pick 6.
We both had Pearl Cone 27-14 over Memphis East.
Got out early, survived and advanced. Great defensive effort. After getting the big lead, the defense hanging in there and getting out with the win.
Indy had beaten Centennial 49-6 during the regular season, beat them 56-15 this time around. We both had the Eagles.
We didn't think it would be this big. It's an elite defense for Centennial. Just a bad matchup, though. Just a little bit more speed on Independence's side. Congratulations to Centennial, great year, but man, Indy is really, really good. And again, against an elite defense, what they did was extremely impressive.
You almost got this one right. Maryville 27, Oakland 13.
Yeah, I thought Oakland had the pieces. And let me tell you something, Oakland is young and with a lot of talent coming back. People better take notice for next year with this Oakland ball club. But again, great job on Maryville finding a way to win and making plays when they needed to make them. And that shows why they've won so many games and been in so many state championships. They just know how to execute and make plays when they present themselves.
They're getting ready to make their 12th consecutive championship game appearance. They are 8-3 in the previous 11. That's why I picked them in that one. Ravenwood, you almost got this one right too. Ravenwood 20, Whitehaven 13.
Yeah, I liked Ravenwood. We picked him. Chris Rowland factor, man. He can score from anywhere for him. He gives them bonus points, like Mo mentioned a couple weeks ago. Really like that, what he brings to the table. And then again, they have a kicker who can give them extra points before a half or change field position. And you just can't. It's hard to put a price on how valuable that is for a football team. 85-yard
kickoff return in this one. Pretty much did the difference there. Let's look real quick through these games this weekend. St. George's and North Point.
St. George, they're a preseason favorite. I've seen them actually live for a couple of years now in a row. Chase Hayden is the real deal. They are big up front. St. George wins this one.
The Griffins, I like them as well. The second game on Thursday night, Brentwood Academy and the defending state champions, NBA.
I picked NBA earlier in the year because they were the defending champions and undefeated, and BA showed us that they were here to be reckoned with. I like NBA again. I just think that this is a defending state champs. I think they're on a mission to get back at BA for that earlier loss, and I think Ty Chandler is going to get 40 to 50 plus touches and show how special he is Friday night with an NBA defense stepping up in a key moment late in the game. NBA upsets BA even though they're the defending champs and repeats as Division II AA champions.
You know, I've said all year I think Brentwood Academy may be the most talented team in the state, and as good as I think NBA is and as good as I think Ty Chandler is, I think that talent wins out here Thursday night. I'm going with the Eagles to break a long championship drought there. It's going to be an interesting ball game.
Yes.
On Friday, Greenback and Nashville Christian.
Greenback, no offense, I just don't think they have enough speed to hang with Nashville Christian. Nashville Christian got over the hump. I think they have a sigh of, breathe a sigh of relief there, and they got too much talent that is playing at a high level with their role players making a big-time contribution. That's a recipe for a state championship. Nashville Christian wins it.
I think you're right. I think Jeff Brothers finally, and the Eagles finally get it done over there. Alcoa CPA.
I like Alcoa in this game, in for the reason of they can run the football, and CPA struggled at times stopping the run, and Alcoa is very physical on defense. I think Alcoa has not forgotten that 7-0 loss since last year. I can promise you Coach Rankin has reminded them every day, and I think Alcoa comes out in a tough physical game, though, that's going to be pretty tight. Alcoa wins it.
I think Alcoa wins this one, and I think it will be a physical ball game, like you said. The nightcap on Friday, Sevier County Independence.
Independence, man. We've been riding that train all year. They've proved it. They're going to score. They're going to score a lot, and then this defense is going to show you again why they've been doing what they've been doing all year. I think they're going to give Sevier County all kind of problems. I think it could be one of our better games of the state championship weekend, but Independence wins.
I like Indy's defense in this. I think they give Deuce Wallace some problems. I think hits the ground kind of hard a couple of times in this one. I like the Eagles here. Saturday morning, Marion County and Tresvant.
I'm going with Trev again. For them to drive all the way from Memphis and beat an Ensworth team who defeated the 3A finalists that's playing this week, that showed me a lot about that football team. I like them to win.
I like them. I like the fact that they beat a Pro-Con team last year pretty handily in the postseason, and I just think they are kind of set up to win this one. I like Tresvant here. 4A, Knoxville Catholic and Pro-Con.
I'm gonna go with the Firebirds. I just think they're clicking at a level on offense where they're balanced, and that's going to be a problem for Knoxville Catholic. Knoxville Catholic has had some issues on the edge, stopping the run, and a little bit they're a little leaky in the secondary. And those are two things Pro-Con does very well. And I think Pro-Con's defense is playing just well enough to slow down Catholic's offense.
That 54 points that Catholic put up against a really good Marshall County team really got my attention. I like Pro-Con. I'm going with Catholic in this one. It just kind of scares me. It's a scary matchup there.
I'm glad we're battling it out this week, unlike normal. This is good.
Well, here we go. The final high school football game of the season in Tennessee. Maryville and Ravenwood. Who do you like?
I picked against Maryville last week. Probably should have learned my lesson, but I'm going with Mr. Hester and the Ravenwood Raptors. I'm the biggest Chris Rowland fan. Maybe somebody else is, but I just think this team has something to them with their special teams. They're not scared of Maryville. They got up on them last year. They're right back where they want to be. They had a crazy 6 turnover game at Centennial, otherwise they would be undefeated. And they got a kicker who can change field positions, who can kick it out of the end zone and make you start on the 20 every time. And it is hard to go 20 to end zone for all your points. I like Ravenwood to pull an upset and get that victory for Coach Hester and this Ravenwood program.
I'm taking Maryville, but I won't mind at all if you're right. How's that? It's just so tough to pick against them and everything that they've accomplished. Obviously, none of those accomplishments, bear on this team in particular, but the tradition, they just seem to find a way to win ball games in this situation. I'm going with Maryville here, but again, go Ravenwood. That's going to shut it down here for our Mo Patton Sports video cast. Hope you've enjoyed it. We have. For Kevin Smith, I'm Maurice Patton. We'll see you in Cookeville.